guys all ready? You guys excited? You guys ready for some poetry? Sweet. All right. Well, guys, we got a little feedback. All right. So how we're going to do this is that what Dante's going to do some of his original work. We're also getting, if you signed up ahead, you're going to get a chance to do some of your original work as well. If we have time at the end, we might either do some questions or some other. If you didn't get to sign up, you might get a chance to do your piece as well. All right. That sound like a plan, guys? All right. Then, without further ado, the one, the only, Dante Basco.
Yeah. 1, 2. This poet speaks even when I'm not spoken to. My goal is hopefully to have broken through the barriers between what is true and what is make-believe, because the truth in the poems that I make may just make you see things more clearly. Constantly questioning, can you hear me? Knowing at my best, politicians fear me. Politic talk tips, do you feel me? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Sometimes I gotta scream and shout to get my point across, because the only way to find the right way is to first realize you're lost. This poetry is painful, searching for the rainbow, yet I show my most private, quiet conversations and tell my stories of poetic exaggerations. I am a poet. Poet. What's up, you guys? So, I'm just walking around the room, this mic is real. This whole thing is about, I guess, I don't know if I'm supposed to be on stage. I don't even think I need this mic. So, I'll get it later on. So this is a poetry hour, right? So, I'm gonna do some poems for you guys throughout the hour, but also, it's not just about me, it's about all the poets and writers here. One of my favorite things about coming to cons is it's such a creative place, right? There's so many creatives, whether you guys are cosplayers, or illustrators, or writers. And so, since I love poetry, I like to sometimes come to cons and open it up to you guys to share your stories, because a lot of people that don't know me as an actor, because I also travel the country as a poet, and I'm part of the crew that in the 90s brought poetry to Los Angeles during the spoken word movement, and I started a poetry venue in my living room called Dante's Poetry Lounge. It was my living room, and then I brought my other friends into it, and we got a theater, and now it's become, over the last 20 years, the largest open mic poetry venue in the country, and it's called DPL, the Poetry Lounge. So, can we turn it down a little bit? I mean, it's so hot. Can we get it down a little bit? So when me and poetry, it's more just, it's just storytelling, you know? It's just storytelling, and the thing about I love about my living room and now my poetry venue, it's really just us sharing stories, and that's what today's all about, and doing it through verse. Also, it's kind of cool because this month, the month of April, is National Writing Month and Poetry Month, and so a lot of us writers are doing the 30 for 30 challenge, the 30-30 challenge. I don't know, do you want any writers here? I mean, there's some poets here, so how many writers? See, we're all writers, poets. Anybody doing the poetry writing challenge? Anybody? Me too. Good luck, good luck. We're 2 days in, good luck. I've never done it before. It just seems like 30 poems in 30 days is a lot, and I'm traveling a lot this month. But I already did my 2 poems, and so far, I feel good about it. Actually, I'll read you my poem I wrote last night. This is April 2nd. It's all on my Tumblr. I'm like posting on my Tumblr, my blog, so. This is simply called April 2nd. Weekend comic convention, where we dress up, us so-called outsiders and weirdos celebrating superheroes and stories that go beyond the confines of the tangible world. These supernatural stories somehow cut to the essence of the human experience, and to my friends with judgmental stares who deem us outsiders, something you'd never be, dressing up in some costume to celebrate some superfluous world. Let me remind you, on our Sundays in sports bars, wearing jerseys of teams we are not on, not unlike cosplay, worshiping athletes like superheroes, high-fiving and hugging strangers after touchdowns is just socially accepted fangirling. We aren't as separate as you think. We just geek out to different things. Thank you. So, we can, so you can follow my poetry month writings on my Tumblr, and then I guess I'll open up with some fan poems I wrote. Y'all want to hear some poems before we get to the list? Yeah? So here we go. A poem called Honor for something lost or misplaced. etched to your consciousness like a scar upon your face. This honor that you chase isn't always what you thought. Matter of fact, the fact that you always had it is the very reason why you proved out. You set out to prove its existence from the start. Toph Bei Feng, she moves mountains, so small yet so strong. Next time I have a life-changing adventure, you're invited to come along. A poem for my friend who doesn't even bend, but his heart is as big as the rest of them. Plus he always has my back, makes me laugh because he's funny. And when he said his girlfriend turned into the moon, all I could say was, that's rough, buddy. And then of course, sometimes the feeling of what could have been is so much stronger than what actually happened, because the memory of perfection lasts longer. And even though we didn't end up together, it'll never change the fact that you changed my life forever. Sutara. So with that, let's get this poetry, this open mic poetry started. What's our list?
We have Marissa Lopez.
Marissa Lopez. Give it up, y'all, for Marissa Lopez.
So I went to the autograph signing and Dante asked if I was doing a poem. I said no. And then he said, why not? And I said, okay, I guess I will. So I wrote this poem in like 20 minutes. I'm not good at rhyming.
Marissa, let's hear it.
Okay, it's a little short. We are unified. We are the collective. Here we stand, joined by community, different but unified. Whether by trekking the hellish wastelands of Mordor, or running through the halls of Rapture, fighting side by side with Sailor Moon, flying the skies of Gotham or Metropolis, slaying the archdemon of Thedas, singing with Miku, hugging a Totoro, catching a Pokemon, exploring Hyrule, protecting Ba Sing Se, shouting Bangarang and honor! We think with friends as much as we think with portals. In all of this, we are unified. So I stand here in a room with a man who's inspired me, and I'd like to say thank you. And remember, we are all unified.
Thank you. Give it for Marissa, y'all. You wrote that how long? 20 minutes? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for writing that. Join us on the writing month, and let's try to do 30 poems this month. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you. Give it up for Marissa.
Allie Hambridge.
All the writers are over here.
Alright, well this is an abridged version of something I've been working on for a year, and it's basically the idea, all of the female characters who've made tragic decisions are the same one, eternally reincarnating and doing the same thing. So, let's see if you can figure out the references, and I'll tell you what they are at the end. When best comes to best, not a moment's rest, I give clarity to talking butterflies, confuse the contrary with lies. Now who is wise? The dragon slain lays at my feet, so weak, your lip trembles, and you're not thinking about tea. I know what you plan to ask me, but the sky falls up to meet me in my mind. I find that I'm the tragedy sort of kind. I drink the blood, I drink the poison, and leave you nothing but a memory. Cuts, bruises, hats and cats, the white song of silence to which we dance. I am made of millions. Much more much than 2 score. Poppies, daisies, roses and thorns, swords cut to the quick, and armor woven with witty dreams. Nothing is ever as it seems. It's all in the field, baby. Eyes open wide, hand to hand, mark to mark, eye to eye. I can't lie. Who am I? Prince Blue promises protection, instantaneous affection. I am going round again. Visions haunt. I do not want to hurt him. Why do I always find that I'm a tragic sort of kind? The dragon writhes beneath my feet. Blue trembles, so weak. He's only thinking about me. But I take up my sword, give him 3 words and a kiss, a half promise. Mirror me, dragon to be, I would become a memory so you cannot be fact. Cut, slash, a self-destructive act, and I am falling up again, but wake. See the field, and Blue is there holding out his hand, but much is much more than this. Temporary are the times of bliss. A uniform is not a mission, but mine is an aspiration. I'm going to be a prince. So Princess Purple falls to pink, it isn't what I think, so much more much than I know her for. I'm only thinking about me. So coffins come, power is sought, what misery you've wrought. Nothing is as it first seems, and I don't need to be a prince, not to do this. Pry open the coffin, the dragon stands tall, but he is weak. I tremble, the coffin creaks, finally we meet. I see you safe, and the swords rush down to meet me. I take the punishment and leave you with a memory, the beautiful tragedy of me. Oh, how he dared, my dear Alistair, dared to dream we'd someday be married happy, but a price comes for victory in war, another notch for much than 2 score. Blood that flickers flows, the dragon knows, a witch offers an answer, but I shake my head, no. So she goes. The march goes on. A dragon is not so easily felled, my fallen friend, still I think I made the right choice. Lovers' lips trembled, but neither of us were weak. It is comfort I seek, but there is little we can give. Goodbye, I said. The dragon lays awaiting when it knows it's fated. I take up my sword and rush up to meet my sacrifice. I made a wish once, and it still haunts me now. Don't know how, but walls collapse, children are snatched. Sing a song, but I refuse to dance along. 2 is much than 2 score, I tell the glitter eyes no. The crystal ball smashes so, and my heart is a cracked diamond. I'm finding that I'm still the tragedy sort of kind. Feathers fly and fall before me to your knees. The hourglass turns, I've a promise to keep. The dragon offers me my dreams. So weak, my lip trembles, but I'm not thinking about me, and I say no power over me. The ground falls down so the world can reach me, and I hear the cries of the baby, family, friends, all make amends, but my wounds remain open, my words can't be unspoken, I'm left with nothing but a memory. My first thought, how could he have done this? But in an instant, it's understood. It takes much than 2 score to start a revolution, start a war. I've merely moments to decide I want to hide, but they all look to me, decide his fate, kill him or set him free, a dragon of a choice. I bite my lip, tremble, I'm so weak. Deep down I always knew my love for this man makes me a fool. The choice is made, cost me what it will. I search for the right words to speak. He flinches at the sound of my voice, loves me but knows what justice should be done. But in my heart, in this moment, it's just us. I cannot raise my hand to him in violence, my declaration followed by silence, then disgust, desertion, disgrace, a call from grace that I would protect him after what he's done, the war he's begun, and so some of my friends leave me. Love's cost seems great indeed, but I take his hand in mine, we fight side by side, but I cannot kill Carver. Brother, maybe one day you'll see all people deserve to be free. Lights and heroes come and go, his eyes are brown, I now know, but the fire burns best at its brightest, the ashes of my dearest dreams, corruption's roots taken hold. Here on this lonely moon we walk through the blue, even before I knew there was no future for me and him. I do not wish to be forgiven. Green to red, red as the hair on my head, a cycle as inevitable as death. He stands before me, you stand before me, your dragon. You are frozen by me, but you still tremble so weak. I could kill you as easily as I speak, but you only think the best of me. I raise the gun, ready the weapon, and I am much more sorrow than 2 score. I didn't want to find myself a tragic sort of kind this time, but while the choice is still mine and while there is still time, I say goodbye. Love, live, forgive, let he not be ruined by this memory, the last scream that comes from me. So I find myself down the rabbit hole again. Hatter, my old friend, love to see you again. But I know when best comes to best, there is no time to rest, a price I'll always pay. You ask, and I wish I could stay, but I'm muchier than 2 score. Much more tragic figure of kind, I was not made for happiness, I said, it seems, I said. Sorry. And the people were Alice in Wonderland, Fire Emblem Awakening, Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant, Dragon Age Origins, Labyrinth, Dragon Age 2, The Dark Phoenix Saga from X-Men, and again, Alice in Wonderland.
So I'll do another poem here. I'll do a piece. I just love the storytelling part of the whole aspect of poetry, because my whole life is, I've been writing poems since I was probably 15, and I've been an actor since I was 10, and so when you're kind of like in that world and like running around the world in the country and shooting movies and TV, and poetry for me has always just been a way for me to kind of digest my life, like autobiographically, journalize my life through verse, and help me kind of cultivate how I see the world. So here's a poem called Where Are You From? Where are you from? Well, that's a loaded question. See, I grew up in a blue-collar town, simply meaning the blacks and the browns, and me being of that category, plus my pops made less than 40. G's a year, it's clear to see that me, I be, well, blue-collar. Better yet, broke most of the time, even better, poor. But when you're young and you're poor, you don't know that you're poor. It never occurs to you that you don't have a bed. Everyone sleeps on the floor, 13 in the house, 1 bathroom, someone always knocking on the door. But at least it was fun. Let's get back to where we started. Where are you from? See, where I'm from, there are cops and there are gangsters, also known as gangbangers. Not unlike the cops and robbers of the movies, but unlike the movies, it's not so black and white. There are areas of gray, and that is to say, it's hard to distinguish the difference between being pulled over by a cop and being hit up by a gangster. Both evoke a pit of pain in the pit of your stomach. I think it's anger masked by shame. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me explain. Followed by a cop. Followed 6 blocks, pulled over by a cop. He looks at you as if you are a mark. Where are you from? He does not wait for you to reply and say, accuses you as you deny. You're from the east side. No sir, bow your head, don't look him in the eyes. It's embarrassing sitting on the curb watching the cars drive by. But being where I'm from, that's just another part of my life. Now when it comes to the gangbanger, all you got to be a stranger, and when he asks you, where are you from, you can feel it laced with danger. So watch what you say next, because you're playing with death. So don't claim the east, don't claim the west. As a matter of fact, same rules apply. Bow your head, don't look him in the eyes. I ain't from nowhere, man, I'm just some guy. See, he too sees you as a mark, but they don't really see you, your face or your heart. All they see are marks. Now, me being me, I got a few tricks up my sleeves. Effed up situations, I've gotten out of a few of those by simply picking my nose. That's right, picking my nose. Check it. When the cop pulls up, I can feel the heat in his eyes, or a El Camino filled with gangsters pulls up next to my side. I pretend I don't see them, and I casually try to pick a booger from my nose. And for a second, just a moment, I'm exposed to be a man, not a mark, a human being just like you. Don't lie, you got boogers too. And the cops, he just continues to roll down the street, and the gangsters, well, they just laugh and then they just leave. Sometimes when you see a little bit of yourself in someone else, it can set you free. And the funny thing is, I'm probably from where they're from, the other side of town, and I'm just trying to get home.
Woo!
Yo, Joe, who's the next poet to the microphone?
Next we got Megan Carlson. Megan, are
Get up for Megan, you guys. What's up, Megan? You ready to rock a poem for us?
Yep.
All right, here you go. From memory, you want the box? Jump on the box, it feels good. It feels good. Good. Sit.
Oh.
Sit. Megan, y'all, get up for Megan.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan, and this poem is called Nerd Herd. And if anybody's from Wilkes-Barre, Penn State, you probably already know what this is. If not, you'll get it soon. Nerd Herd. What a wonderful place, where I'm safe, I feel comfortable, and I can speak anything about Disney, mangas, or anime. And all I feel is happiness. And as I walk down these halls, talking to people, I feel, wow, all of these people here are part of the Nerd Herd. And no matter what I feel at Zenkaikon 2016, you're all coming back, no matter what, to be a nerd.
Megan, you guys, give it for Megan. Thank you, Megan. Nerd Herd in the house. Yo, Joe, who's next?
next we got Maggie Flesh Burrito. Maggie?
Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry.
Give it up for Maggie, you guys.
Hello. I have 2 poems for you. I'm a very serious poet, not really. But I didn't look at the schedule before coming to the con. When I saw the poetry open mic, I was so excited. And then I realized that I left my computer at home, so I had to write new poems for this thing. So I wrote both of these in the past 2 days. And I think I might just keep going with the 30-day trial.
Yes, please join us on the 30-day challenge.
So this first poem is called The Sour Ones, and it's based on a series that I love very much. Take a drink, but remember, the sour ones hurt. They burn your tongue and eyes, inflame your senses, block your nose and trigger your tear ducts, small blades of flavor stabbing. Nothing ever happens here. The white smoke fills the streets and sky, fills your head with mechanical lies. It flattens you from the inside out, smooths the wrinkles of your brain, but your head's no good anyway, so let it burn. Nothing ever happened here, so leave with the girl on the Vespa and ditch it all. Become her comrade nobody and follow her to the edge of Siberia. Freeze in the streets in her sleeping bag. Open your eyes to the city you never left at all. Breathe deep. Breathe the sour air, sharp, cold, and fill yourself with whitewashed smoke. Your head's no good, she says, and leaves for the boy with the lead guitar. Never know what she means when she says Fari Kura, if she's calling you a fool. Take a drink, but remember that the sour ones hurt. And thanks. The second poem that I wrote, I actually wrote it first, is a form poem. And usually I don't write form poetry, but this particular form is called a villanelle, and it's a really complicated, ridiculous French poem style that was created in the 19th century. And they make really funny poems. So here is my villanelle for you. I don't care what you think about Sword Art Online, or a black swordman other than Guts. The show has its problems, but I think it's fine. At every convention, panelists waste their time, fighting and groaning and giving their tuts, but I don't care what they think about Sword Art Online. Does Asuno's character devolve in time? Why isn't Kirito's real body a klutz? The show has its problems, but I think it's fine. The fairy dance arc was way out of line, and traumatic assault became fan service schmutz. I don't care what I think about Sword Art Online. Mother's Rosario was a short-lived gold mine, and, spoiler alert, left me deep in the ruts. The show may have problems, but I think it's fine. It's popular to hate on a popular find, and SAO's rise left so much in the dust, but I don't care what you think about Sword Art Online. The show has its problems, but I think it's fine. Thank you.
Maggie. Thank you, Maggie. Please continue continue writing with us for the month. The collective us. I hope I get through it myself. I don't know, I'm just trying to write about whatever I see every day. There's actually a prompt, I guess there's people online that are writing, there's like new prompts that release that you can write about every day. But I'm just kind of writing about what I see. I'll do another poem. I guess I'll do a poem after every 2 poets. So let's do this poem. So again, poetry is all about writing about your life and what you see, and this is kind of this. These are these mixture of poems that is just kind of me defining myself, I guess. Thoughts swim around my mind, thoughts swim around my mind. Now ask yourself, who's this kid that stands before me? Hope he doesn't bore me. Quick, stick him in another category. Well, shit, he really doesn't fit in any. Brown like a copper penny, yet with Asiatic eyes. I see to my surprise, he's got a black nose. But on the real, I am a Filipino. And to break it down for the still, I will tell you I descend from an island where the natives run around nearly naked named Negritos. Translation, little black men. Black as their shadows in the glorious sun, but then came a Chinaman. Maybe it was Japan who mixed in the Asiatic blood. Drip, drop, drip, rips my tribal. Here comes the Bible of a man from Spain who left me with a Spanish name from the little conquered islands from where I came. Confused I question, yet I wound up here where I found joy. Recognize I am a brown boy in America, a place where you are judged by the color of your skin. Black, white, here I am, standing on the land of another brown man. Now that's irony that I can see. Thoughts from around my mind, you got to give me time on this. Thoughts from around my mind, but my grandpop says just throw your line and fish. And when I say I'm fishing, it means I'm searching for a deeper meaning, a stronger feeling, realizing everything I'm seeing isn't what it's seeming. This world in which you live in, the religion I was raised on now raises questions. Question everything they tell you, don't buy everything they try to sell you. Promises of heaven, what's it's like to live in hell through the religion that they want me to believe in, got me subconsciously accepting before I say about the Jesus Christ I was a heathen. Me and the Africans and Indians and Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and Koreans and all the other Asians and I can never do that because somewhere in the back of my mind I have to hate myself forever because I know I'll never look like their God, but God, I ain't mad at you because God, I know the truth. I am you. Like you are me. like I am them, like they are us, like yo, this is who we are. See, some speak of the revolution and they say it won't be televised, and they're right, because the revolution is going on. It's the revolution of the mind, and this revolution is not a black or white thing or in between the rich and poor. It's those who are awake and those who are asleep, and this is a wake-up call. So wake up, y'all. Wake up, y'all. Before we fall, wake up, wake up, wake up, Uncle Sam. You're a relative of mine, but your wife is a hoe. You beat her and cheat her, though, and I fear you may murder her. And furthermore, you and I live in a time of no good guys. Ask if would I consider your friends to look up people of color as nigga. Shh. I'm like, fuck the police. Furthermore, fuck this country. Do you know how it feels to live young and hungry and angry? People looking at me like they want to hang me. Why do you make me want to elevate above you? You make me hate you when I should love you. Because when I break it down to the biology, I see that we're the same, and that's the God in me, the God in me, the God in me, part of me, the God in us. In God we trust. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Thank you. Yo, Joe. What's the next poet?
Megan Clive.
Megan Clive, what's up?
Megan.
A tough. Welcome to the stage. Give it up for Megan, y'all.
Ironically, my poem is also called Honor, so let's get this started. What is to be defined as a well attribute? Integrity, compassion, a complex dispute. But these pieces and glue are difficult to construe. The winding path of your good may lead to the loss of the true. As if a scar is left and is left in disrepair, you want it to be changed despite the earthquake's teeth be bared. Shadows arise and shame starts to sprout, an intense battle within and an evil one out. Until they create a compromise, and the scar is not forgotten, and the reminder never dies.
Give it up for Megan, you guys. Thank you, Megan. Awesome cosplay. Tough has a special place in my heart. Who's the next poet?
Maggie Don? Meg?
Eden?
Eden, there we go.
Eden. Give it up for Eden, you guys. Hi, Eden.
This poem is called Missing No. All you Pokemon fans know what's up? At GameStop, my cousin picked up a used copy of Pokemon Blue. The save file had Missing No, a Rhydon with 2 water guns and a sky attack. And we laughed at the idea of Rhydon flying over our heads, Rhydon shooting water out of his horn. He had infinite rare candies and flower number of monies. He had boxes full of Pokemon he never had to catch. He could walk over buildings and water and trees and mountains. He said, I'm never saving over this file. But I looked out at the road, which became pixelated, how in battles the bodies were sliced, like my world might fall apart entirely at any moment.
Thank you, Eden. Beautiful poems you got, you guys. Amazing. All girls, no guy poets in the house. There's no men out there with poems, except me. I don't know. I mean, I always encourage people to write because it's always about, lots of people are like, well, I don't have anything to say, or I can't do poems like you. So it's about finding your voice. Sometimes people may imitate other poets to start with, to kind of get their flow or their cadence. But ultimately, the more you write, the more you'll find your own voice as a writer and as a spoken word artist or poet. So I'll do a poem. This is called the Happiness Poem. I wrote this poem because I was doing a keynote for Lululemon, and they wanted to do Lululemon. They sell yoga pants, and so. Which is crazy because my other job is to run around and do keynotes for colleges and corporations sometimes. And so they wanted me to write a poem about happiness and do a keynote about happiness, which is kind of crazy. I was like, $129 yoga pants, that's happiness. I guess that's happiness. So, but they were great, and here's a small poem I wrote for them. If happiness was currency, how would you invest? Maybe you would play a little more, you'd work a little less. I mean, if joy was affluence and poverty was stress, maybe we'd have a better chance of seeing life is not a contest. I mean, even now, here with us, having the luxury to discuss the pursuit of happiness is a little pretentious, so I submit this paradigm shift in consciousness. See, success and happiness are often synonymous, and I don't mean to sound ominous, but it's just not so. See, what I propose is these two things, often confused for one another, are actually very different from each other. Success is like being hungry, wanting to be fed, while happiness is wanting to get warm, the need of a blanket and a bed. Money, fame, success, if you work hard and you're lucky enough to get them, but you think that automatically equals happiness, well, that's just not the algorithm. In a Harvard study on this subject spanning over 75 years of the poor and the rich, contrary to popular belief, money, fame, success has nothing to do with happiness. Now in this control group in their youth, like millennials today, they thought happiness was the attainment of all these things. But later in life, now in their 90s, they're able to illuminate to us what this life really means. Because when it all falls away, in their golden years, they've uncovered happiness is only measured in the quality of relationships that we hold dear. Relationships, your family and friends, people are the only currency of matter in the end. And in the moment I heard this fact, I was stopped in my tracks because it was undoubtedly a universal truth, and it hit me with a moment of clarity that only universal truths do. See, it reminds me that money, fame, and success are just man-made conventions, our social considerations, but the source is people, and thus that's where happiness lies within. The quality of our relationships are more precious than gold. Keep them as healthy as you can. And I bid you live a long life and die a wealthy man. Yo, Joe, who's the next poet?
We got Amy G.
Amy G? Give it up for Amy. Where's Amy at? Right here, Amy. Give it for Amy, you guys.
Alright, so to start off, I have a question for you guys. So, who here has heard of a little anime called Love Live? So this poem is about that. So I guess I'll just call it Love Live. I love Love Live. To love is to live is to love. I love my life. Starting, dashing, opening doors of dreams in the house of the moon goddess, elegant gardens, the reflections of Japanese culture, in my cosplay, my form and feet, that of a student council president, among diverse yet identical girls who don't reflect nor could contain the women who put up with and overcome mountains and oceans for a salary measly in comparison to the profits snatched by those corporations who exploit talent and set the impossible standards for girls like me. These idols which we idolize, femininity, misogyny in disguise, isolate these problems in a fandom, rip the sexist industry to shreds, and rise in tandems. Free these women the same way they have freed me, because I love Love Live, but I love being me.
Thank you.
Laura P.
Sup, y'all?
What's up?
This one is kind of a mix of a bunch of different animes. Growing up as a kid, I was an outcast myself, and this is kind of what anime has done for me emotionally, so I'm calling it inspiration. And it's only halfway written, so the rest of it's gonna come kind of off the top of my head. Lost was how I felt before I found you, showing me worlds that seem so real and true. People laugh and scoff, they say it's not real, but that can't change the way I feel. Pretty guardians in sailor suits, a pharaoh searching for the truth, a girl with a talking uniform, a wedding dress that can transform, creatures that talk, walk, just like you and me. If only everyone can see how we see. They look at this and say it's just a cartoon. They don't know how this world has made all of us bloom. They can call it what they want. They don't have to understand. We do, and others like us can't. All these characters are people with pain, and all of them have scars that will remain. And alchemists, fighters, people with guns. These are shows and stories we love. I'm an outcast and different, just like they are. They're all just like they are. Others don't have to understand because they do, and everyone else.
Thank you, Laura. Give it for Laura, you guys. We got one more poet on the sign up. Who's the last poet on the sign up?
Nicole Costa.
Nicole Costa. Are you still here? Give it for Nicole, you guys.
So usually I actually write poems about nature and inanimate objects. So I actually adapted one of my poems I wrote years ago into geekdom. And I'm going to read both versions because when I changed the poem to be more nerdy and geeky, it actually completely changed the meaning of the original poem. And it's a fairly short poem. So the original is going to be first. It's called Carrot Nose. I tried to grab the clouds and keep the sun away, but my arms were just sticks, and soon I melted. And that's the original version. And the second version is called Olaf. I tried to grab the clouds and bring the summer day, but my arms were just sticks, and the snow never melted.
Thank you. So, any questions? Those are all the poets that signed up. I'll do another poem, but any questions about poetry or about anything, even stuff, anything you guys want to talk about? What's up? Lower P.
What inspires you, poetry-wise?
I started writing poems when I was like 15, and the original inspiration was girls, probably. Definitely girls. I mean, I look back into my journals. I love journaling, and it was always like girls. And then from there, it's just kind of like things you're trying to overcome in life, whether it be business stuff, heartache, family problems. I've written about all that kind of stuff. But now, my inspiration literally is, you guys walking around. I wrote the poem about you guys last night or the night before, just kind of hanging out in a bar and just checking in with myself and new cities, just everything. The great thing about being an artist is, it's a great thing in the crazy thing is like, I don't really have a regular job, like a 9-to-5 job, but I'm working all the time because I'm open to every person you meet, every place you go, every meal you eat. There's something in there that kind of gives you inspiration to kind of write a poem, be a scene in a movie that I'm writing, take a picture. It becomes like this ongoing conversation, art piece that continues. Questions? In the back, yeah.
What's your favorite type to write? What's your favorite thing to write? Like a pentameter, a lyric?
Yeah, when I perform, I do a lot of rhyming stuff because I grew up like such a hip hop kid, and it actually makes it easier for me to remember things, and it kind of like lands easier, like a lot of couplets and songs, like real Shakespearean, iambic pentameter stuff. But then when I write, a lot of times I'll write stuff that it's not really to be made to perform. It's just kind of like more detail oriented and just things I'm seeing and things I'm feeling, and sometimes those things aren't really meant for me to perform, and more just to be read. But I like it all, Yes. Yeah, the purple hair. Yeah, she with the purple hair.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Bronte.
Hi, Bronte.
Hi. I was wondering, you know how poetry, in a sense, is a lot like songs, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about songs that don't seem to have meaning, like the ones that are all about calling girls bad names?
Oh, yeah, that's, I don't know, I mean, I don't, you know, for me, I grew up in the 90s, right, with hip-hop, where the hip-hop generation was very, the fact that we were hip-hop, we listened to rap music, and the kind of music we listened to was, we were from the neighborhood, but we were elevated in consciousness and like, you know, writing, and Tribe Called Quest, and Leaders of the New School, and I mean, all the Native Tongue Tip, like De La Soul, these kind of guys were like my heroes, because we were like saying, we may be from the neighborhood, but we're not dumb, we're smart, we're kind of an elevated kind of crew. As things happened, became pop music, and all of a sudden, you know, it's become dumbed down to a degree. In one sense, I kind of look down and I'm like, this is stupid. But the other sense, you know, at a club, it depends, everything at a certain time, right? You could be in a club at a certain time and like, this music sounds awesome. And then like other times, like, I can't listen to this madness. So it's like anything, like art, it's like a pop movie. It's like, how do you feel when you go watch Fast and the Furious 7 in the theaters? Like, this is a dumb movie. Like, what am I watching? But also, it's, you know, fun. You know, in a weird way, but I don't, as far as calling women bad names and stuff like that, I don't really subscribe to that thought. But as far as the genre, I can understand it on different levels. Questions? Oh, thank you for the question.
Do you have an idea for today's poem that you're going to do for the 30-day poem?
No, you know what? I do not, but I do have a train ride to Philly tonight to think about what I'm gonna be writing about. I mean, like last night I turned the poem and I literally like published it on Tumblr like at 11:59. So it might be another one of those days. I don't know. I mean, I'm just taking it so far, you know, as like whatever I see. Hey, who knows, I might see something cool on the train and I might like write about the landscape. I don't know. Like my ode to Pennsylvania. Questions?
Do you ever freestyle poetry, and if so, how often?
You know, when I was younger, we do freestyles like cypher and stuff like that. Not much these days because I don't have a lot of time to kind of freestyle. In my poetry venue, when I was hosting a lot, I would leave the last, you know, 15 minutes open for freestyle poetry because the list kind of it fills up so quick. We go 9 to midnight every Tuesday night, but it fills up so fast where we leave that time open sometimes to just kind of get on the mic. But I freestyle sometimes. I don't know about today. Do you freestyle? No. I like to freestyle, but if you ain't feeling it, it's hard. Like, don't go there because there's gonna be someone gonna eat you up. Like, I can't think. Questions?
Hi Dante.
Hi.
I don't know if you remember, but I was on Friday and I got your autograph, and you said
I remember.
Yeah, you said that you're going to Philly. Is there like a con that I'm missing?
No, I'm just going to Philly because I have meetings tomorrow. Yeah, I have meetings. I have a meeting. My whole life isn't a con. I'm just playing. Yeah, I just have some business meetings before I get back to LA and Philly.
Hi, my name's Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
And I was just wondering, have you ever thought about publishing your literature as a literature?
Yeah, my first book got published. You can actually go to at the store, what's it called? The store, my website, rufiozuko.com or dantebasco.com, either or. If you go to rufiozuko.com, you can see all the t-shirts and stuff. It's also, they have what's left over of the book right now, my first book, and I'm working on the second book. The first book's called Dante's Poetry Lounge. So go check it out.
How you doing?
Yo, what's up?
I have 2 questions.
Shoot.
What is that Tumblr account? Because I was looking for it.
Oh, my Tumblr account is Rufio Zuko.
Okay. And my second one is, what type of mindset would you hold when you are writing something?
Say it one more time.
What type of mindset would you hold when you're writing something?
Man, just be in the moment, you know what I'm saying? I mean, actually my mindset usually when I write poetry is I get very introspective. You know what I'm saying? You're at the time of the day when you're just like...
I go through absolute emotions when I'm writing.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to go through that. That's the whole thing. It's like we're digesting our life, right? Everything, like things you've seen, moments. Look, we're at a con. Like, we are artists, we're creatives, we are sensitive people. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't understand, or maybe they do, they're just not as connected to it, but we're connected to it. Like, people say things to us, things happen, it affects us, it impacts us, it can really hurt our feelings or really make us happy. And really being able to check in with that and not to let that moment pass is really the job of the writer and the poet. Is like, let me put this down on paper right now. Let me put it down. If I'm happy, let me put that down. If I'm feeling sad or feeling like my feelings hurt, let me put that down. And let me find out why. Not just put it down like I'm sad. It's like, let me eloquently investigate what it is. And sometimes, and you know, if you're writing a long form essay or you're writing stories, you can really investigate in a long way. What I do as a poet is it's very, you know, you're very sparse with your words. You're trying to conduce all those thoughts into one thing, and sometimes it could just be a detail, and if that detail reigns true with someone else, like I talk about in one of the poems, it's universal truths. We're just trying to uncover these universal truths, and those are the things that echo in other people and echo in ourselves.
Hi.
Yo.
How do you get across like writer's block? Because when I write sometimes, like I feel like so emotional, but like I can't put it into words. So how do you like get past that?
No, it's like, I fucking feel like shit, and I hate myself. How do you... I don't know, you know, you just start writing. I mean, sometimes I'm just stream of conscious writing, for sure. It's like, I'm like, just, you gotta get it out. And you can go back and edit, that's the great thing. It's your journal, like, you don't have to like even perform or like publish stuff that you're not ready for people to see. So I would say just stream of conscious writing, even if you're like feeling so emotional, you know, you just start writing, I am so emotional. Like the tears in my eyes like are rooted into the depths of my soul, and people don't understand how fucked up I am right now. That kind of stuff. I mean, just start writing, and then sooner or later it's going to form into the body of a poem. And you can start to kind of carve away the things you don't want to say and really streamline it into like that perfect thing you want to say. Yeah, questions?
Yeah, so I know you said that when you write poetry, you're writing about like what's happening around you at all times. Do you find yourself writing any comedical poetry?
Any what?
Like comical?
Comedy? Yeah, I have comedy poetry. I think there's always, there's poem, but it's still stuff that I'm like doing. I mean, I have friends that just write stories, poetry stories that are funny, and I love them. And there's times when I was younger, I was like really a snob about poetry, like, yeah, man, that's not no real stuff, you know? But there's, like all writing, there's different genres of writing, and they all matter. Everyone's story matters. And in your life, there should be comedy, like you saw like in the, like where I'm from poem. I mean, it's a heavy kind of subject about being profiled and about comparing gangsters with cops and about the world I grew up in, but also the picking of your nose is funny. It's real, that's real talk, but it's really funny. Us as writers, as artists, you know, we can't take ourselves too seriously. So being able to find humor in anything and everything we do is essential. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. I mean, half the people here are dressed up in costume, walking around Lancaster like, what's up? And I think it's awesome and crazy and funny at the same time. It's cool. So, yeah, so I'm down with humor. I think you have to find humor. Like, we can't take ourselves that seriously.
Hello.
Hello.
I know you mentioned that music is your inspiration. Do you have any poets that you really love?
Yeah, definitely. The first poet that I really connected to, that really started my kind of like writing, was Charles Bukowski. He was like an LA poet from San Pedro, really. You know, it's the first time, the poetry was so far away from me, and then I started reading his poems when I was a teenager. I just saw him describing neighborhoods that I knew, people that I've seen, and I go, wow, that's poetry, that's really, you know, and the details of what he saw, you know. And then I started going to poetry venues and really being impacted by that kind of stuff. And I remember local poets. I remember this one girl talking about like the abuse that she witnessed growing up with her parents, right? And I remember her saying in a poem, she'll never forget how, you know, the color of red the blood was as it dripped down the avocado green refrigerator. It's like that kind of stuff. It's like brings you there. And it's those details of what sticks in our mind, like really depicting that. And so Bukowski, going back later on and then being able to appreciate like Shakespeare's sonnets and stuff like that, or I mean, I love the Transcendentalists and Walt Whitman and Emerson and all those dudes, right? So that, and then now the new stuff, because I've been around the poetry scene for the last 20 years, and friends of mine and becoming really great poets, whether it be NQ, Sekou, Shihan, all these like new poets, Lemon, poets from New York Cafe, poets from Def Poetry. So it's I'm inspired by all those guys.
How you doing today?
How you doing?
First off, I heard you talking about how you love Tribe Called Quest. I'm also a big fan. I just want to know how you felt about Fighting Across Passage, and also I wanted to know if you remember the first poem you ever wrote.
Yep, I do. And yes, Five Dog Passing was kind of messed up for me. Everybody, for a certain generation that grew up in the golden era of hip hop, you know, we hear our parents talk about the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and I'm a fan of those bands. But to us that grew up in hip hop, Tribe Called Quest is our Beatles. You know, it's our Rolling Stones. Like a very influential band. I went to see them play many a times. Many moments in my life are, you know, that's part of the soundtrack of my life, right? So to see one of those people passing in your generation is pretty, you know, emotional, and it kind of feels like you're growing up. Like, wow, we're grown now. This is crazy. And then my first poem, I don't remember it off the top of my head. I know it because I read it in my journal. It was called Juice. It was called Juice. So like, I got the juice. It was about a girl. It was about the girl. It was about trying to show off to a girl, for sure. And it rhymed. And I thought it was dope, but I don't know. But it's still cool. It's called like, I got the juice. And it was like talking about, it was like all in that 90s kind of like hip hop vernacular. It was cool though. I should record that. Good question.
All right, I think we have time for one last question.
One last question. I got one last one.
First off, you probably aren't going to still be like in the Philly area in like 2 weeks, right after the 413 update, because there is going to be a Philly stuff, you know, final update, Homestuck panel that I would love, you know, you obviously went into because you're awesome. And my actual question is, have you written any poems about Homestuck or Rufio or Zuko?
I did those Avatar poems. I wrote that song about Homestuck, like helped produce the song Geeking Out. If you haven't seen it, it's on my YouTube page where I cosplay Rufio Nitron because I'm crazy. And I am looking forward to towards the update. I am working with Homestuck now. I became friends with Hussey, and you know, the whole thing's ending, so we're all kind of like excited and sad about the ending. I did mention something about Homestuck 2.0 on Loot Crate, and my Tumblr kind of like got blown up with like all these questions, and I can't even answer them because I'm like, I don't even know why I said that. It just came out of my mouth. And then, you know, the Homestucks, we're rabid fan base. They're like, what the fuck is this Homestuck 2.0? And I'm like, I'm not answering any questions because I can't right at the moment. But I would love to, you know, I gotta figure out that because we're trying to put together, as it's ending, people know we have video games coming out in the next few years. And then I'm also trying to close some deals right now to figure out how we're gonna do a YouTube channel for the Homestucks. And it's not gonna be really it's not really about pushing the IP more. I'm really trying to meet the fan base all over the world. People send in videos and try to kind of curate like the conversation of Homestucks because the fan base is really what it's about as we move forward and as Hussey figures out what he wants to do with the story. I want to just keep the conversation going with the Homestucks, and if I can travel around to different places and just have Homestuck meets and shoot them, that could be cool. But yeah, so check that out. And you know, with Rufio and Zuko, yeah, they're inspiring. I have to write an Uncle Iroh poem. Like, I know I need to do that. But it's such an emotional thing that, you know, we'll get to that. Maybe that'll be this month, a poem for Uncle Iroh. But I'll end it. I want to just thank you guys all for coming out, and I'll just end it with this quick poem. I wanted to write a poem to save the world and call it love, because it's what the world needs now, and what there's just too little of. But that seemed to be too complex for most, too intangible, so indefinable, and so often unattainable, so I had to simplify and simply say, give. Give. Give, 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 give a shit. Give a penny, give a dime, give a second of your time to simply give a smile. Give some good advice to a child. Give because you want to, not because you have to. Give because you can. Give a damn. Give because you're a man or a woman who is able to give. Sometimes when you give, it may hurt, you may bleed, but it is better to give than it is to receive. Give more than what you paid for. And when you think you've given all you can afford, try to give just a little bit more. Give. Thank you, guys.
Hey guys, Dante's going to be down in the exhibit hall from 1:30 to 3 today. That's the final autograph session. All right, enjoy the con, guys. See you later.